It's Friday, the 18th of September 2020. Good evening to our viewers here in Kenya and around the world. I hope you had yourself a fantastic day and, of course, already used to the new normal of washing your hands, putting on your mask and staying at home when you can. Of course, just some of the protocols globally in COVID-19 prevention and response, even as the world scientists try really hard to come up with treatment or vaccine for this deadly virus. Now the curve keeps fluctuating here in the country just in the last 24 hours after maintaining it at about 5%, which is recommended by the World Health Organization for any country to say that it's flattened its curve. 148 cases of COVID-19 were reported here in the country from a sample size of about 2,400, and this brings our positivity rate as a country to 6%, slightly higher than what the WHO says should be achieved for any country to say that it's now beginning to flatten its curve. What will it take for Kenya to maintain this curve at 5% and below? Details of this and much more tonight on Channel 1 Weekend. That's the hashtag to use, Channel 1 Weekend, at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. Channel 1 Weekend begins right now with the day's highlights. Counting the cost, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says constitutional referendum to cost the taxpayer 10 billion shillings. Battling the deadly virus, 148 more test positive for coronavirus. Back to business. Council of Governors suspends the ongoing county operation shutdown following Senate's passage of the county revenue sharing formula.
So private fitness clubs may reopen immediately and observe all the containment measures, including strict social distancing, sanitization, hand washing, among other measures as provided in the guidelines.
And a non-contact sports to resume immediately, but without spectators, announces Sports CS Amina Mohammed. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Purity Museo and Simon Karodha is our sign language interpreter tonight. Let's begin our broadcast. The Director of Public Prosecution has appointed a team of senior prosecutors to undertake an independent and comprehensive review of the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority scandal files. The DPP Nordin Haji, while indicating that he had received the files from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, has given the team 14 days to report back to him.
In a tweet, the DPP said he had received a duplicate inquiry file on the irregular procurement and fraudulent payments in relation to the purchase and supply of COVID-19 emergency commodities worth 7.8 billion shillings at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. Haji said he has appointed a team of senior experienced prosecutors to undertake an independent and comprehensive review of the inquiry file and submit their findings to him. President Kenyatta had given investigative agencies 3 weeks to get to the bottom of the KEMSA mess, compelling EACC to commence probe on how tenders to supply COVID-19 kits worth billions of shillings were given to entities linked to politicians and influential business people. The scandal saw KEMSA Chief Executive Officer Jonah Manjari and top procurement and finance officials suspended. Among individuals questioned by EACC include KEMSA Board Chairman Kembi Gitura, board members and staff linked to how the tenders were awarded and paid. Jubilee Vice Chairperson David Murathe was also questioned by EACC on the same scandal.
Now, it will cost the taxpayer more than 10 billion shillings to hold a referendum to amend the constitution, according to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The commission says besides the funds, the current infrastructure in place is a big challenge to enable a smooth process, as over 70% of the country lacks 3G network coverage required for real-time electronic transmission of results.
IEBC is admitting that as things stand now, it will be a big challenge to deliver a credible electoral process. To begin with, IEBC says less than 30% of the country is covered by 3G network to enable seamless transmission of results electronically.
Presiding officers are forced to send the picture and the text. Then the text flies, because it can fly even with minimum network of 3G. Then as they walk or as they drive towards the tallying center, they come across some 3G network. Then it flies, the picture moves. Then the next thing you hear in the presidential petition, transmission was not done from polling station. So definitely, if 3G network is not enhanced across the country, that problem is bound to happen in 2022 and going forward.
Until you realize on election day that you don't have connectivity, or the media cannot cover it, it makes it impossible for you to say you are equal to somebody from another region.
According to the Commission, if the country was to go the referendum route to amend the new constitution as being pushed for by the Building Bridges Initiative supporters, over 10 billion shillings will be required to undertake such an exercise. The Commission is rooting to have IEBC commissioners in office 2 years prior to a general election.
If election laws are amended 6 months to election, instead of 2 years to election in terms of best practices, you prepare your manuals and processes and procedures last minute. If you have prepared 2 years before and law comes and changes, election is a highly regulated process, you must go back and change all your processes.
Speaking at the Center for Multi-Party Democracy Forum, Senate Majority Leader Samuel Pugisio said CMD should be strengthened as a way of building the democracy space in the country.
Some of the things that have been shared by the Commission here, Parliament is not aware, or parliamentarians are not aware of some of your challenges, because then legislation will be flowing from it.
I've knocked every door that one can knock. We have dealt with our jailer committee, we have dealt with the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, we have dealt with Treasury. I don't know next person unless you ask us to go to State House.
Leaders who attended the forum to commemorate the International Day of Democracy warned that democracy was at risk.
What if each political party ensured, even in the nominations and in the tickets they give everybody, there's no 2/3 of any gender? We will already have fixed this.
All eyes now shift to the August House for deliberations on the amendment of the Constitution if the country is to attain smooth, transparent and satisfactory electoral processes going forward. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1 in the county of Nairobi.
To the daily COVID-19 update, the country in the last 24 hours recorded an additional 148 cases of coronavirus from 2,438 samples tested. This brings the total number of Kenya's coronavirus infections to 36,724. Mombasa took the largest chunk with 40 cases. During a similar period, 4 patients succumbed to the deadly COVID-19 disease, pushing the total fatalities to 646. The country's coronavirus positivity rate jumped to 6% Friday, slightly higher by 1% from the 5% recommended by the World Health Organization for a country to consider having flattened its curve. 148 people tested positive from 2,438 samples tested in the last 24 hours. The country's caseload now stands at 36,724 from a cumulative sample size of 511,614. From the cases, 145 are Kenyans, while 3 foreigners. 105 are males and 43 females. The youngest is a 2-year-old infant, while the oldest, 75. Mombasa recorded 40 cases, followed by Nairobi, which recorded 32 cases, Laikipia 15, Kiambu 11, Nakuru and Embu recorded 7 cases each, Uasin Gishu and Kajiado counties 6 cases each, Taita Taveta and Kisumu 5, Kitui 4, Trans Nzoia 3, while Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Kwale, Machakos, Kericho, Makueni and Murang'a recording single cases. 98 people recovered from the disease, 46 from home-based care program and 52 were discharged from various health facilities. 4 patients succumbed to the deadly disease, and those who have lost the battle to COVID-19 are 646. To date, Africa has recorded more than 1 million confirmed cases. Testing rates are reported to be low, which could distort official figures. More than 30 million people around the world have been diagnosed with the coronavirus, and 943,515 have died, according to Johns Hopkins University. Some 20.4 million people have recovered. Israel is about to enter a second nationwide lockdown at the onset of the Jewish high holiday season. And you're watching Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night. Joseph Felix Owori, you're watching from Nyatike Sub-County in Migori County. Evans Kidiga on Twitter, you're also saying you're tuned in from Mlango Kubwa. And we also have Brahms Masha. You're calling yourself Real Brahms, and you're saying you're tuned in from Trans Nzoia County. Keep talking to us. Keep tweeting, telling us where you're watching us from. We are live on all our social media platforms, so you can also stream live. I'll be glad to sample your opinion and feedback during and before the tail end of the broadcast. The Ministry of Education says the over 600,000 new desks for schools should be ready and be in place by the end of October. Speaking while meeting Juakali Artisans in Homa Bay County, Education CS George Magoha expressed confidence in the sector to undertake the job. Professor Magoha warned of stiff measures on anyone found swindling the funds.
Professor Magoha, who was in Homa Bay, said the government was banking its faith on local artisans to supply the over 600,000 desks to public learning schools by the end of October.
I also want to charge Your Excellency and other governors that if we have bona fide Juakali sheds that only means one small equipment, in order for them to benefit from this initiative from His Excellency the President, let us unite as you offered there, yes, to buy for them the mold for the back of the chair.
Right. The CS warning cartels with the appetite of looting public funds that they will have no room, and anybody trying to misappropriate the money will be in for a rude shock.
That money is not for anybody to steal. It is to go to the hands of the Juakali boys and girls who are out there. I also want to discourage the phenomenon that you get the contract, then you go to Kisumu to make sure you get equipment from there. No. That is not what His Excellency the President wants. He wants to empower the youth where they are.
The 1.9 billion shillings programs was launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta on Thursday and is aimed at equipping public schools with new desks before the resumption of learning, which was interrupted by the coronavirus pandemic in March this year.
So we are now relooking at our systems. The technical group has a report which at the end of today I shall read, after my brother Belio has also read, and we shall meet again on Monday as stakeholders. Don't go and say that we have decided. After we decide there, we shall take the cooked report to another layer of government. I think it is about time for teachers to get ready to come back to school to make them habitable so that our children can come back to school as soon as possible.
Timothy Kipnoso for Channel 1 News.
It's now time for us to take our first commercial break, but looking on Facebook, you are talking to us and streaming live, and Victor Young, you're saying you're watching Channel 1 Weekend on our Facebook page. Charles Angui, you're also tuned in from Mudhedhe, and Joseph Wajeri, you also tuned in from Oloitoktok, Boda, Tracy Agani from Vihiga County. Thank you so much. Mahiri Daniel, you're saying you're watching from Migori County. Keep talking to us. Our first commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We are coming back shortly.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Do we look like the two dumbest guys in the world to you?
In this town, you don't mess with the law.
You know how fast you were going?
65.
63.
The law messes with you.
Isn't the speed limit 65?
Yeah, it is.
I'm freaking out, man.
Oh! Give me a double bacon cheeseburger.
Double bacon cheeseburger, it's for a cop.
They're coming back, man!
Pull the vehicle over.
I'm already pulled over.
Pull over farther, man!
I can't pull over. Sir, I'm already pulled over.
He's already pulled over. He can't pull over any farther.
Super Troopers.
Wow!
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
People are now out of their comfort zones because without everything is normal. You know, like you wake up, you go to work, you come back, and then you're satisfied. But now that satisfaction is not there anymore.
It's really amazing because businesses are now moving to where their clients are. If you wait for clients to come to you, it's no longer working. She has created jobs.
5 jobs.
5 jobs
in COVID.
During COVID season. Yes. Who's employing during COVID? People are laying people off.
KBC Channel 1 evokes the full potential of worship in you. Join us for an experience like no other when it comes to lifting your soul and giving adoration.
We are here for you.
Worship experience. Praise mix.
And welcome back. You are watching Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night. The Council of Governors Chairperson Wycliffe Oparanya has suspended the ongoing county operation shutdown. Following the Senate's passage of the county revenue sharing formula, Oparanya accused the Senate for taking long to reach a consensus, saying the intervention from the president averted the impending disaster. This has caused senators faulted the COG chair for misleading other governors to suspend operations, saying it was ill-informed.
Services in the counties are expected to resume as usual after the Council of Governors called off the cessation of operation directive. Speaking during the Bungoma County Governor's address at Kibabi University grounds, Oparanya said this follows the Senate endorsement of the new revenue sharing formula, paving way for resumption of services in counties. Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa said operations will now resume normalcy, hailing the president for pledging to raise next year's shareable revenue by 50 billion should the economy improve.
Because of the intervention of His Excellency the President, we have been able to avert a disruption that would have been a massive disruption of services in our counties, and that would have been a blow devolution that is now 8 years, and when we are also celebrating 10 years of the 2010 Constitution that gave us devolution.
Sentiments shared by ODM leader Raila Odinga, who in his Facebook page regretted that the revenue sharing stalemate brought to fore the merge resource shared by counties. Raila expressed hopes that this will be addressed through BBI, which seeks to raise the funding of counties from the current 15 to 35% of the national revenue. Oparanya's U-turn, however, did not spare him of the wrath of senators from the coast who faulted him for announcing a shutdown of services in counties when the country was grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Kwa hivyo hicho kitendo chokifanya ni cha kushangaza, kwa sababu walienda kwa kuzungumza hayo maneno na pesa zikaongezeka kwamba pesa ndio hizi. The next day irudi Senate tujadiliane. Hata 24 hours hajamalizika kumezuka namna hiyo.
Pesa hizi ambazo tumeongeza kulingana na uwezo wetu tuliokuwa nao. Tunataka pesa hizi zitumike kwa hali ya kisawasawa.
Meanwhile, the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission IEBC has slated the by-election from Sambweni constituency in Kwale County for December 15th. The seat fell vacant following the death of the area MP Suleiman Dori in March this year. In a Gazette notice, IEBC will also conduct by-elections for Member of County Assembly for Kahawa Wendani Ward in Kiambu County, Kisumu North Ward in Kisumu County, Dabaso Ward in Kilifi County, Wundanyi Mbale in Taita Taveta County, and Lakeview Ward in Nakuru County. Finally, Orange Democratic Movement Kisumu members have welcomed the Deputy President to visit the region. The members reiterated that it was the constitutional right for any political leader to visit any part of the country.
The Deputy President has his democratic right to go to any part of the country, Kisumu included. And he has his democratic right to associate with anybody.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
And Kapseret Member of Parliament Oscar Sudi has been released on a cash bail of 500,000 shillings but barred from addressing any public rally until the hate speech accusations leveled against him are conclusively investigated. Justice Joel Ngugi, sitting in Nakuru, ordered the lawmaker to pay an alternative bond of 1 million shillings after spending more than 1 week behind bars.
A day after he moved to the High Court to challenge a ruling extending his detention, Oscar Sudi has been conditionally released from custody. Justice Joel Ngugi, sitting in Nakuru on Friday, ordered the release of the lawmaker on a 500,000 Kenyan shilling cash bail. Justice Ngugi, however, barred the legislator from addressing public rallies until the hate speech accusations leveled against him are conclusively investigated.
The applicant shall not, before a charging decision is made in this case, and thereafter, until the order is varied by the trial court, make any public utterances or comments akin to those he is alleged to have made, which the state alleges are capable of inflaming public passions and hostilities among communities.
Sudi, who is yet to be formally charged, is accused of hate speech, offensive conduct, resisting arrest, behaving in unlawful possession of a firearm, and assaulting a police officer.
Na pia nataka niseme asante kwa watu wangu ninawakilisha kule Kapseret na Wasingishu na Rift Valley na Kenya, kwa sababu nilisema ya kwamba tudumisha amani na tuhakikisha kwamba sisi ni wale hatuwezi guswa ili tutingize amani.
Meanwhile, the sentencing of 3 suspects of the 2013 Westgate terror attacks has been postponed until 5th October. The 3 suspects are charged with aiding the gunmen involved in the Westgate Mall attack in September 2013. One of the suspects, Mohammed Ahmed Abdi, however, told the court that he needs an extra blanket, arguing that the cells are freezing cold. The second suspect, Liban Abdullahi, complained of the diet at Committee Prison, saying the porridge has no sugar. Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Moving on, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission is proposing an amendment to the election law ahead of the 2022 general election to bar hate speech mongers from contesting. According to Commissioner Wambui Nyutu, NCIC is working closely with other relevant institutions, including the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, to ensure current politicians and aspiring candidates will be subjected to thorough vetting before they are cleared to contest. And we regret that story. It has some sound problems. We are working on it and we'll get it shortly. Of course, NCIC saying that those propagating hate speech must be barred from contesting in the next general election. We'll have that report shortly. Once again, apologies for the sound problems that we just experienced with that report. Meanwhile, property owners in various residential estates in Nairobi County will from Wednesday next week start receiving land titles. Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Karonei says 18,000 titles will be issued to beneficiaries in Mathare, Umoja, Dandora, Kayole, Kariobangi, Uhuru, Harambee and Kimathi estates within 4 weeks. The exercise is in line with President Uhuru Kenyatta's Nairobi titling program launched in 2018 and aims at helping property owners get genuine documents.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I hope that was a rhetorical question, Margot. We don't have time to waste today.
Hey, Atito, and who do you think you are to talk to fellow students like that?
I can talk to you idiots the way I please. I am now in charge.
Tija, what are those? What do you mean, what are those? I've taught this many times, I kind of lost count.
Hey, Mr. Teacher, maybe you taught that on another class.
Nonsense inside that trouser. You think you can put us around as you please?
Ne, Atito Japuru. We copy exams together always. No, you think you can teach us what exactly?
You know, you're so full of yourself, you know that? Huh? This hard head of yours is going to be your downfall.
And now you are talking.
Yes, I'm talking, and it's regression, not regression.
Next on.
I've missed you. I really miss my best friend.
What is this? Aren't you getting along with your son and your wife again?
Why are you so hostile?
Why wouldn't I be interested? You had something with her. I lay on my bed thinking that you're having a chat with her. That feels horrible.
Please don't shut yourself from me.
All right then.
So you'd better watch your words. You don't scare me one bit. In Love with Ramon.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tutatengeza sabuni na bidhaa zingine za matumizi pale nyumbani. Kisha tujuzwe uzuri wa kilimo cha greenhouse.
Greenhouse ni kilimo bora, kilimo ambacho kilikuwa kikifanyika kitambo, lakini watu wengi hawako wanajua manufaa yake.
Basi ungana nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I had given birth to a son, and my husband had an affair within a year of our marriage. And I had an affair to get revenge. You know, I was 21, I was young, and tried to get revenge and got pregnant by the other guy.
I'm a hoe dealer. And I remember at a young age sitting there watching people in my dad's church. He was a preacher. And I remember watching people up on that platform looking like they were ready to slice their wrists, like, one glad morning when this life is over. I'm thinking, I don't want to go to heaven with you.
Every Saturday and Sunday, KBC rejuvenates your weekend with gospel tunes and strengthen your faith with the word. As we bring you Seventh-day Adventist Sermon, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
In the Bible, we can find answers to life's most important questions.
The Holy Mass on Sundays at 9:30 a.m.
Mwana kondoo wa Mungu aondoaye dhambi za dunia. Tazameni yeye anayetuponya magonjwa yetu yote ya mwili na ya roho.
The All Saints Cathedral at 11 a.m.
Pray that the Lord Jesus Christ may raise you to be a witness.
KBC Channel 1.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Do we look like the two dumbest guys in the world to you?
In this town, you don't mess with the law.
You know how fast you were going?
65.
63.
The law messes with you.
Isn't the speed limit 65?
Yeah, it is.
I'm freaking out, man.
Oh!
Give me a double bacon cheeseburger. Double bacon cheeseburger, it's for a cop.
They're coming back, man!
Pull the vehicle over.
I'm already pulled over.
Pull over farther, man.
I can't pull over. Sir, I'm already pulled over.
He's already pulled over. He can't pull over any farther.
Super Troopers.
Yote ndawaidu iko tu sawa kwa macho yako.
Unataka kuwako?
Ati nini? Why are you people shouting?
Are you okay?
Mwanamke ninakuona sana. Ni wanaume hapa Mombasa wameisha.
Ni nini mbaya?
Nowadays we have so many unfaithful people.
What?
We need to talk about her every time we are together.
And be very careful the way you address me.
Zako zinakuangaje? Huwezi kaa dakika mbili hata bila kuteta.
You will all sign new contracts.
And I am supposed to be briefed.
What? Taki ujinga.
Oof.
Welcome back once again. Apologies for the technical hitch we were experiencing. The National Cohesion and Integration Commission is proposing an amendment to the election law ahead of the 2022 general election to bar hate speech mongers from contesting. According to Commissioner Wambui, new to NCIC, is working closely with other relevant institutions, including the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, to ensure current politicians and aspiring candidates will be subjected to thorough vetting before they are cleared to contest.
In light of recent cases where some politicians have found themselves on the wrong side of the law on accusations of incitement and hate speech, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission is mulling amending the law to bar individuals of such character from vying for elective office. According to Commissioner Wambui Nyutu, NCIC is working closely with other relevant stakeholders to ensure candidates interested in vying during the 2022 general elections are subjected to thorough vetting.
We will come for you, and even if you may get a bail out of court, you will know that 2022 you should have behaved better, because NCIC is pushing for amendment of the laws so that we may be able to bar politicians who are hate mongers from running for office.
Speaking in Garissa County after a courtesy call to the County Commissioner Meru Mwangi, Nyutu regretted the political class have made it a habit of using the court to get bail and delay justice with the hope of escaping punishment.
There is a very huge responsibility that the leaders should take, because we know what happened there before, and we do not want to remember.
Because every person has to be responsible for what they do, what they say, and what they think. Secondly, our political culture also needs to change, because, and this is where now the top leaders and the political parties must come in. Even political parties and leaders of political parties must ensure discipline within their own members.
Garissa County Commissioner Meru Mwangi hailed residents for being calm and peaceful. He said the government has stepped up surveillance and appropriate action will be taken on anyone found inciting communities against each other.
We want to have and embrace the so-called multi-agency approach strategy, where every community and every reader should come to work with the others to ensure that service delivery to Mwananchi is guaranteed.
And property owners in various residential estates in Nairobi County will from Wednesday next week start receiving land titles. Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Karonei says 18,000 titles will be issued to beneficiaries in Mathare, Umoja, Dandora, Kayole, Kariobangi, Uhuru, Harambee and Kimathi estates within 4 weeks. The exercise is in line with President Uhuru Kenyatta's Nairobi titling program launched in 2018 and aims at helping property owners get genuine documents.
It is a sigh of relief for at least 18,000 property owners in the Nairobi Metropolitan after the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, jointly with the national government, launched another phase of issuance of title deeds to property owners in the capital. Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Karonei said the collaboration paves way for county-wide data collection by NMS to speed up eventual issuance of over 25 title deeds.
We are properly documenting, including biometrics, capturing the biometrics of the landowners. This is important because of the history of this project. You know, the process started in 1975. That's almost 50 years. So a lot of the documentation in between is lost, and we have to capture the biometrics of the landowners. So as the process comes on, please bear with us, because if you have waited 50 years, you might as well just wait a few more weeks.
The Cabinet Secretary urged property owners to take advantage of the program to reap benefits from their properties. Other services to be fast-tracked by the program include documentation of county allotted properties and the tenant purchase schemes. Speaking during the launch, Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director Major General Mohammed Badi called on beneficiaries to submit requisite documents between the 23rd of September and 10th of October to facilitate the exercise.
This exercise is the second in a month after NMS issued another batch of 2,100 title deeds to landowners in Nairobi. The earlier ones included Kayole, Dandora, Mathare, Kariobangi, amongst others. Where those yet to collect their title deeds, they are advised to collect them here at KICC, as will be announced in accordance to COVID-19 health guidelines from Thursday.
The exercise targets to benefit property owners in Mathare, Umoja, Dandora, Kayole, Kariobangi, Uhuru, Harambee, and Kimathi estates. Meanwhile, residents of Matopeni Ward in Kayole sub-county are crying foul over what they term as a compromised process in the issuance of title deeds in the area. The residents claim that they cannot afford 30,000 shillings needed to facilitate the process.
Kwa hivyo tungeuliza serikali itupatie akili mwingine uli atatulipisha giri 3. Hiyo tunaweza, hata watu wanaweza chagia mtu akapata title yake.
Na hiyo 30,000 ni ma MCA wameweka. Kwa sababu wakati waliingia kwa serikali wakafukuza ile wakili ya county, wakaandika wakili yao.
They are now pleading with President Uhuru Kenyatta to intervene.
And 23,000 Kenyans are angling for the 4.9 billion shillings government's affordable houses. Speaking while touring the project, Housing and Urban Development Principal Secretary Charles Hinga said 50% of the units are reserved for civil servants.
23,000 Kenyans have applied for the 4.9 billion shillings government's Park Road affordable house. Housing and Urban Development Principal Secretary Charles Hinga says the houses will be given out on lottery basis and 685 units are up for grabs.
I'm here to also happy to report that as of today we have 23,000 Kenyans that have already paid a deposit towards this house. So that's a big problem for us, a good problem, because we have more demand and less supply.
Out of the number, according to Hinga, will go to civil servants who have allocated 50%.
Half of the units already sold out to government employees. Remember, when the housing fund did not take off, we had to turn back and say, how can we get this program started? So the civil servant mortgage scheme became the first off-taker on behalf of the civil servants. So that exercise we've already done. We have allocated a lot of policemen, and a lot of civil servants have already been allocated their portion.
Hinga promising that the process for allocation will be transparent to ensure only those that are eligible benefit from the project.
Kenyans should be proud that finally there is something that is starting to take shape. But remember, you don't tie the program to a political term. This is something where we want to make sure that 50 years from now, the work that we have put will still be reaping the fruits. The cost, this project here is just shy of 5 billion. It's about 4.9 billion. And it is what is called EPC plus F. So it's a contractor who comes in, they build it on a turnkey, and they bring in the money, and then we only pay them when the houses are completed.
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
In other news, Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed is among 5 candidates that have been cleared for the next stage of the World Trade Organization Director General position to succeed Roberto Azevedo, who is retiring. Amina will battle it out for round 2 with Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala of Nigeria, Yu Yang-hee of the Republic of Korea, Muhammad Maziad Al-Tuwajri of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Liam Fox of the United Kingdom in consultations to kick off next week on Wednesday. A statement from WTO said the organization had taken another step towards selecting its next Director General Friday. The General Council Chair of WTO, David Walker of New Zealand, and his 2 co-facilitators in the selection process disclosed that the WTO members indicated those who should advance are Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala of Nigeria, Yu Yang-hee of the Republic of Korea, Amina Mohamed of Kenya, Muhammad Maziad Al-Tuwajri of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Liam Fox of the United Kingdom. Walker said throughout the 6 days of consultations, it is said their expertise and high professional and personal qualities are highly valued and respected by all members. Walker said the second phase of consultations will begin on 24th September and run until October 6th. During this time, members will be asked in confidential consultations to express two preferences to the facilitators in order to reduce the number of candidates from 5 to 2. Following this process, Ambassador Walker will call another heads of delegations meeting at which the results will be announced to the WTO membership. The timetable for the third and final round of consultations will be announced at that time. It says the ultimate objective of this measured and clearly defined process is to secure a consensus decision by members on the next Director General. And acting Registrar of Political Parties, Anne Nderitu, has defended her scorecard in office, saying she properly handled disputes in political parties. Nderitu was on Friday vetted by the National Assembly's Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, said there is a need to strengthen the capacity of the office of the Registrar of Political Parties to enable it to have more say in the running of political party coalitions.
And Nderitu has edged closer to becoming the substantive registrar of political parties after working in an acting capacity for 2 years. On Friday, Nderitu was tasked to explain how she intends to use her role to influence positive changes at the registrar of political parties.
Why do you think you are uniquely qualified to be the registrar of political parties?
I have over 19 years in public service, as you, in terms of leadership in public service, as you can calculate. 2, I am very well grounded in matters governance, public administration, and management.
Nderitu, who previously served as the head of voter registration at the Independent Election Boundaries Commission, has been holding fort at the Registrar of Political Parties since August 2018 following the departure of Lucy Ndungu. Nderitu called for amendments to the law to allow the office of the Registrar of Political Parties to have meaningful say in the management of political party coalitions.
There are some Kenyans who came to your office and tried to register the Communist Party of Kenya, and another team that tried to register Tanga Movement of Kenya, but you didn't allow them to register those names. So I just wanted to know why you made that decision.
We could not register Tanga, given that it was against the provisions of Section 8 of the Political Parties Act. Looking at the face value of the name, if you just somebody tell you Tanga, in itself it's even offensive.
Also vetted on Friday were Ali Abdullahi Siro, Florence Tabo Beria, and Wilson Makore Mahochi, who had been shortlisted for the position of Assistant Registrar.
Could you demonstrate to us how you will exercise independence as a deputy registrar?
There is a suggestion that I belong to a particular political affiliation, but I believe that that is just by coincidence. I am a professional all along and believe in delivering services impartially and objectively.
The Justice and Legal Affairs Committee is expected to forward its decision on the 4 to the National Assembly for consideration. For Channel 1 News, I am Edward Kabasa.
In the world of business, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani says 60 billion shillings will be disbursed to counties on Monday after the Senate passed the county allocation of a revenue bill. Yatani says the first allocation will last the counties for 2 months, adding that the standoff in passing of the bill has hurt normal operations in counties, calling for consensus to avert such scenarios in the future.
After a protracted stalemate at the Senate over the revenue allocation bill, senators on Thursday resolved the issue after the national government pledged to increase cash to counties by 53.5 billion shillings. The National Treasury is now ready to disburse 60 billion shillings of the cash to devolved units on Monday next week.
I want to assure Kenyans that by latest Monday, we are going to disburse an amount of 60 billion to the counties, which is here for 2 months. We've already finalized all the internal arrangements within National Treasury. The funds is there. We're just waiting for the presidential assent, possibly today, to disburse these funds by latest 10:11 a.m. on Monday.
He, however, took issue with the delayed passage of the revenue bill, saying it had crippled services in the devolved units and rolled back gains made in the fight against the spread of COVID-19.
At the end of the day, we need to be alive to the fact that our indecision, our failure to act at the right time, has a direct impact on the Kenyan people. We are talking of service delivery, critical service delivery, particularly with this era of COVID-19.
He absolved the National Treasury from any blame in the standoff that had threatened to shut down county operations.
Part of the National Treasury is being very agonizing moments for us. In absence of any law, any appropriate law that gives us powers to disburse funds to the county, then our hands were totally tied.
Under the new formula, the counties of Nairobi, Nakuru, Kiambu, and Turkana will receive the lion's share of the disbursements to the devolved units. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization has developed 10 focus points targeted at arid and semi-arid counties as part of climate change adaptation strategies. Chief Research Scientist Dr. Jane Wamongo says a pasture and fodder program that is funded by the World Bank is part of the initiative targeting to benefit over 500,000 households.
There have been increasing cases of livestock in arid and semi-arid areas dying, with pastoralists the most affected due to lack of pasture and water in what is blamed on climate change. This pattern has prompted researchers to develop 10 new fodder varieties that survive in such arsal areas. The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization says the fodder will benefit about 521,000 households, consisting smallholder farmers and pastoralists.
Today we are in Meru, where we are training 2 counties. Issues of climate change and greenhouse gases. Livestock is the culprit in the agricultural sector in terms of emissions. And one of the ways we can mitigate that is by improving the fodder and feeds that we are giving the livestock. That is Malsabit and Isiolo on issues of fodder and pasture production, which are climate smart, that will enable them increase their production as well as mitigate against climate change.
Addressing extension service providers in Meru, Calro officials say the project involves natural pasture improvement through reseeding community-based range grass seed bulking and acacia tortilis seed pod supplements.
We have a big problem with the seed, availability of the seed, pasture seeds to plant. So we have another team that we formulated as the Karo Kiboko, that is on community-based seed bulking and management practices.
Issues of climate change and greenhouse gases. Livestock is the culprit in the agricultural sector in terms of emissions. And one of the ways we can mitigate that is by improving the fodder and feeds that we are giving the livestock.
Calro scientists are training 200 trainers of trainers who are extension service providers drawn from Kajiado, Tana River, Mandera, Taita, Taveta, Isiolo, Marsabit, Laikipia and West Pokot counties.
Watu wetu wafugaji wakihama, ikifika wakati wa kiangazi wanahama. Na wakihama ni kama mama na watoto na familia wanahama, wanaenda kuanzisha kabomba ingine kidogo ambaye sio mahali ya kuishi wa familia wanaishi, lakini lazima wafuate mifugo ndio waweze kukula.
It's now time for the sports news, and we are beginning the news on a very positive note where all sporting activities in the country except contact sports are expected to resume immediately after Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohamed unveiled the protocols to the resumption of sports and recreational activities in the country. Contact sports including boxing, karate, wrestling, rugby, football, hockey, netball and basketball will remain suspended. Spectators will not not be allowed in the stadium in order to minimize contacts. Sporting activities in the country were suspended since March following the outbreak of coronavirus.
Sportsmen and women who have been missing in action for almost 5 months now have something to smile about after Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed today announced the first phase of resumption of sporting activities. The CS announced that non-contact sporting activities will resume, but contact sports, including judo, karate, boxing, chess, and swimming, will remain suspended. All sporting activities for sportsmen and women under the ages of 18 will also remain suspended.
So private fitness clubs may reopen immediately and observe all the containment measures, including strict social distancing, sanitization, hand washing, among other measures as provided in the guidelines. Strict adherence is expected from gym owners and users in this respect. The management of all sports federations, management of training camps, sports academies, sports facilities, and other sports institutions shall ensure enforcement and compliance of these guidelines in order to secure the safety of our athletes, athlete support personnel, all staff, event organizers, and spectators. Further, all sports events shall be planned and executed in accordance with the Ministry of Health COVID-19 directives. I repeat that. Further, all sports events shall be planned and executed in accordance with the Ministry of Health COVID-19 directives. Ladies and gentlemen, these guidelines will change from time to time, and that will depend on the global.
The Cabinet Secretary further stressed on the need for sports academies and training camps to ensure compliance of all set directives in the fight against COVID-19. Dr. Francis Kuria, the head of public health in the Ministry of Health, said that technical staff and benches around stadiums will be required to be on the face masks all the time. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
World 1,500 meters champion Timothy Cheruiyot is eyeing to run another world leading time at the last leg of the Diamond Leg Circuit in Doha, Qatar on the 25th of September. Cheruiyot has nearly managed a sub 3 minutes and 30 seconds this season, registering 3 minutes 28.48 seconds, a world leading time on his way to victory at the opening Diamond League meeting in Monaco in August.
Timothy Cheruiyot registered an impressive 3 minutes 30.25 seconds, a sub 3 minutes 30 seconds performance that is eager to surpass in Doha.
Doha naona mwili respond mzuri na naona Doha kama feel itakuwa strong na sakimbia another world.
Cheruiyot, however, revealed that he is missing his training partner, former world champion Elijah Manangoi, who is flagged by Athletics Integrity Unit AIU for whereabout failures and anti-doping violation.
Alikuwa mtu wa 400 meters, alikuwa na speed. Sasa mimi nilikuwa nasaidia baada wa endurance. Na tulikuwa tunasaidiana sana, lakini tunamwombea mema. Yeah.
His coach Bernard Ouma has said that the whereabouts failure was subject to administration issue and was not related to substance abuse.
Yes, you see, when one of you all of a sudden is missing from the team, you miss a group. So when you're missing a group and a brother, there's that gap. So there's that void effect that, so-and-so is not with us for the time being, but we pray for him. It was a whereabout case, not a doping case per se. And it's more of an administrative issue, which boils down to an individual athlete. And I'm very sure he's going to get over it, and we're praying for it.
After the Doha Diamond League, Cheruiyot will be looking to closing the season at home with the Nairobi Continental Tour set for October 3rd. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
And the tennis US Open champion Naomi Osaka has pulled out of the French Open, which is scheduled to start on the 27th of this month due to injury. On Saturday, the Japanese player won her second US Open and third Grand Slam title with a 1-6, 6-3, 6-3 victory over Victoria Azarenka in New York. The 22-year-old had her left hamstring wrapped in tape when she beat Azarenka in the final at the Flushing Meadows. The world number 3, who won the Australian Open in 2019, has never gone beyond the third round at Roland Garros. Earlier this month, world number 1 Ashley Barty announced she would her first French Open title, pulling out of the tournament because of coronavirus restrictions. Right, and that brings us to the end of Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night. Thank you so much for your time and for watching. A lot of your feedback. There's somebody who said that I should not fail to mention him, and I do not want to end the show before that. And your name is oh wow, you're calling yourself Painkiller, and you're saying your name is Gideon Onderi, tuned in from Kisii. Thank you so much, Onderi, for your time, and everybody else who's taken time to watch Channel 1 Weekend this night. I'll see you again tomorrow, same place, same time. Do stay safe. Up next is Weather Forecast. I'm Purity Museo. Simon Carrother has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Do enjoy the rest of your night, and God bless.
Friday it is. I hope you're well. Thank you for your time. This is Channel 1 Weather Updates. My name is Irene Mchoma Odem. Tonight, the whole country has been covered with partly cloudy conditions, but there are showers accompanied by thunderstorms over a few places in the county of Kisumu and especially around the lake. This, as the coldest town tonight, is Kericho. Temperatures stand at 11 degrees Celsius, and that is how the nights will be. Tomorrow, during the morning hours, the whole country will experience sunny intervals, though there will be light rains over a few places in the county of Nyeri. There will be showers over a few places in the county of Lamu. This as cloudiness characterized most parts of the coastal strip, the northeastern parts of the country, the northwestern, the Lake Basin, and western parts of the country will continue to experience sunny intervals during the afternoon hours, though there will be showers accompanied by thunderstorms in Kisii, Kakamega, Kitale, and Bungoma areas. There will also be showers accompanied by thunderstorms in the county of Nakuru, but these will be over a few places. The northeastern parts of the country, the coastal strip, and the northwestern parts of the country will also, during the afternoon hours, experience strong southerly winds of 12.5 meters per second. Though the winds will be manageable, it is advisable that we take precautionary measures for our safety. Best temperatures across the country will be experienced in Mandera at 37 degrees Celsius. Temperatures have gone up in the capital. Expect highs of 27 and lows of 15 degrees Celsius. And on that note, let's now cross the borders and have a look at the international forecast. Have a good night and a blessed day ahead.